welcome. I'm really excited for this conversation. City Biz listeners, audience, you're in for a very exciting and interesting conversation. It's going to be a bit of fresh air. We might use terms if you've heard on TikTok, terms you've heard on Instagram, but we all want to focus on the youth and how there's a special opportunity within the city of Baltimore to elevate and uplift a group of people that are often overlooked. I have here CEO of Dent Education, Micky. Say hi.
Hey y'all, my name's Micky Wolf. I have been with Dent Education for the last 6 years, became our CEO in March of last year. And yeah, it's been amazing to just see the potential of youth innovators in our city and excited to share more about that with you today.
Awesome. We're all excited to hear more about it. Let's start with Dent. I see you're rocking the shirt there, the logo. I'm a bit biased, me being a coach during the 2023 season. When did Dent start? Let's go a bit back and towards the concept and the conceptualization of Dent education.
Yeah. So Dent Education really started with our co-founder and first CEO, Rajan Patel, having a transformative experience where he saw the power of being in a maker space. I'm in Dent's maker space right now. Kind of being in a maker space and having an idea in his head become a product in his hands. He had that experience in college when he was an undergrad. And then he kind of worked with this team building out this Embrace baby warmer, which was a low cost baby warmer developed in India with a team of folks where the folks that Rajan were working with in India, he really saw how impactful design thinking was in their own journey and how, those mindsets of seeing problems as opportunities, failing fast and learning, really kind of were part of this journey where someone who maybe came in, well, started with Rajan's own journey where he kind of had this mindset of, there's only one right answer. And, I'm not a maker, I'm not a builder, I'm not an entrepreneur, to when he then kind of saw everybody in the world can be creative, can make an impact in their community. And by applying some of these mindsets and learning and, kind of putting them into practice could really, build the world that they want to be in. And so Rajan went back to business school at Stanford, where he met Jackie Newman, who was a former Baltimore City public school teacher. And when Rajan was talking about, hey, I want to start this organization that, kind of leverages design thinking, making, and entrepreneurship, Jackie was like, Baltimore City students are creative, they're resilient, they, kind of naturally have that kind of entrepreneurial mindset. And so that was kind of what led to them after they graduated, starting Dent in Baltimore City in 2017. Yeah, it's been a journey, a lot of different steps since 2017 to 2024, but that was kind of the origin story of Dent Education.
Yeah, thank you, Micky. And let's talk a bit about that transition from its initial concept of a product now to, over 100 students now can speak towards the benefit they've had with Dent. You are targeting some of the schools that have the brightest minds, but some of the least opportunities and resources, providing them the opportunity to learn and grow as a leader through entrepreneurship. Let's talk a little bit about the different programs and styles in which they can do so.
Yeah. So since 2017, Dent has served over 570 students. They've made over $927,000 in our programs. They also have 90% of our students believe in their ability to shape the world around them. That kind of mindset shift of I can make a dent in the world around me is a really important part of our impact model. One of the things that we have seen is that our young people, kind of over the last 7 years, Dent has really become influenced by Baltimore City. Dent was, founded with this kind of belief that, and even like our initial founding vision statement reflected the fact that we believe that anybody could be creative and we want every human to be able to live with agency in their lives. Over the last 7 years, Baltimore has become the core of our work, our focus. The young people that we work with are Baltimore youth from 25 different high schools, 25 different neighborhoods, really reflective of, Baltimore City public schools and the fact that 90% of our students identify as Black. Most of our students are BIPOC. Our students also, kind of, we look for students that have some sort of passion or spark. It doesn't necessarily need to be the students that have the best GPA, because we know that entrepreneurship is not just about having the best GPA or the best grades. Instead, it's about, can you see problems in your community? Do you care about making the neighborhoods around you a better place? In our programs, students are really learning. We've got kind of our flagship program, Bet on Baltimore. This is a 5-week paid summer internship. Our first summer doing Bet on Baltimore really kind of led to, and that was done, in 2017 in partnership with Green Street Academy and Larry Rivets, one of their co-founders. Kind of had this, idea and spark around, we should have a program called Bet on Baltimore, where young people in our city are able to build businesses in the summer program in partnership with YouthWorks. That initial program has grown to, serve over 100 students, every summer. In this upcoming summer, we're paring down a little bit to serve about 65 students, to really focus in on kind of some of our core tracks. It's a project-based learning experience where a young person sees problems out in the community, brainstorms a bunch of solutions, and then actually build specific, businesses or social ventures to address those problems. This upcoming summer, we've got our 4 core tracks. This includes Made It Dent, which is a co-owned product design studio. Michael was a former coach with our Made It Dent track. And in Made It Dent, we both serve local businesses and clients. We've got actually some products right here that they're making for the Be More Me conference. This is a youth design bag meant to reference past, present, and future. And it also is coming with fabric markers so that the students at the Be More Me conference can actually design and draw on the bag. We also have Denternship, where students will bring their creative problem-solving skills to a partner organization and focus on some sort of innovation challenge that organization faces. We've got our Accelerate Your Dent track. This is for the students that want to be entrepreneurs and actually have their own business or nonprofit to grow in our programs. It was pretty amazing. Last night, I just was at the Social Innovation Lab, the Johns Hopkins Social Innovation Lab, where one of our former students, Shania, who's currently a senior in high school, was pitching her business NAV, or her nonprofit NAV, which she's grown over the years with Dent, and then now kind of outside of Dent through this partnership. She's the youngest person ever accepted into the Social Innovation Lab. And then our newest track is, at Dent, we're always evolving to really connect our young people to the Baltimore youth innovation ecosystem. And so we've launched a track called AI Academy, powered by Data Camp Donates, where young people are leveraging AI tools to grow their own social impact projects or businesses. One of these, for example, is called Nourish Navigator, where students have developed a custom GBT to actually be able to help people shop locally on a budget with their specific zip code and grocery stores and suggested recipes, things like that. So just to pull up high level, Dent, really the core of our mission is that we co-create an equitable future with Baltimore youth who are developing durable mindsets, social capital, and innovation careers to impact the world around them. And we're working towards this vision where we close the racial wealth gap in Baltimore through homegrown talent developing as the leaders of our innovation ecosystem.
That's excellent. It's amazing to hear that Baltimore, being one of few Black cities, and that's defined by cities that have a predominantly Black and BIPOC population with a Black mayor. When you look at cities like Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, they have that fabric. But when you think about the youth, as smart cities become a larger development across real estate, ideologies, across so many different lines, it's important to think about the youth and how we can empower them. And I really wanted to double tap on something that I feel like, Micky, you knocked out of the park, but I think it's worth resharing with the people. It's amazing to have these programs. It's amazing to have almost like it's a multi-layered approach about where do you think you can fit in, or where do you think you can build a community? We have something here for you. But ultimately, results matter. So let's just talk a little bit about what has this really done? to help students either get accepted into colleges, accepted into workforce. I remember just talking to another denter during the showcase just 2 days ago, and she just said, I have 2, 3 internships lined up. One is with Whiting Turner, a multi-billion-dollar construction company. I'm just sitting here like, man, I don't think I've ever met a 17-year-old that needs a vacation.
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, we definitely, it's funny you say that because I feel like the element of, um, yeah, balancing sustainability and self-care in the space of entrepreneurship is a challenge. It's definitely something we are still, working towards and striving towards, but also it is something that we really value, and I think something we can do better. And I think that, Dent as a community like really creates this space where young people can be their authentic selves, share who they are, and also connect with staff members who are doing the same. Like we've got this small, 8-to-1 staff or student to staff ratio. Um, I'll share a couple of examples of how young people are growing. And I'll also just say that in my 6 years at Dent, um, I've seen pretty consistently that students develop the I can mentality. The mindset shift that happens at Dent is real. It's consistently proven. We partnered with the Johns Hopkins Center for Research and Reform in Education over a 5-year period of time where they evaluated Bet on Baltimore, which is our big summer internship program. And we consistently saw that 80 to 90% of students would shift their mindset when it came to, I see the value in collaboration, or, problems are opportunity to make a difference, or believe in my ability to learn and get better at anything. Like those core durable mindsets, a growth mindset, an entrepreneurial mindset, a willingness to take action, that shift has happened. And, over the years we've been doing this, 570 youth, that impact has become clear. I think where part of what's driving Dent into the future is how do we ensure that post high school, our young people can actually achieve upward mobility and have agency in their life, careers, and choice down that direction. And we've seen that even when students, maybe go to college, getting to and through college can be a challenge, or, that's the things that actually drive upward mobility. There's a big research project by Raj Chetty that looked at 72 million Facebook friends and tax records and saw that the number one driver of upward mobility is your relationship across socioeconomic class, that economic connectedness. And so, that's where Dent kind of has said, all right, these are our 3 levers of impact: durable mindsets, innovation careers, and social capital. And those relationships that students build over the years become really powerful. I'll tell one story, which is our former student Josh, who, over the years you could just see developed confidence when he was learning how to 3D print and got involved in setting up our 3D printing lab, and was involved in Made It Dent as a co-owner, designing products first in our, face shield operation that we did in COVID, and then becoming kind of a core part of our programming, when we were designing, unique products for other partners and e-commerce websites. And when he was graduating high school, he said, hey, I'm not sure if college is the right next step for me immediately. Are there any opportunities to grow at Dent? And so with Josh involved, we developed a program called our Innovator in Residence. This is like a 1-year gap year program, full-time post high school, where a student goes through kind of another values aligned partnership in the city. So this year we've partnered with the Maryland Service Year Program and Service Year Fellowship. The first year we partnered with Micah's Community Arts Collaborative program. And then Josh developed a relationship through actually a Dent showcase, met Paris Dean, who's an entrepreneur, runs Spare and Homes. Paris has been an amazing mentor to Josh. And I mean, that's really of Paris's own volition. And, Josh is now, after his program ended with Dent, is kind of working on, kind of a business management degree, getting an associate's, as well as now interning with Paris, focusing on marketing. And so that's one example of what those relationships look like. We've got other students that have gone on to, pursue school degrees where they're maybe using the Dent mindsets, becoming doctors, becoming healthcare professionals. But what we've kind of said over the last years is that's great. Those students are definitely Denters for life, still a part of our network. Where we're trying to support young people is along these 4 career paths: becoming designers, entrepreneurs, engineers, and technologists. And so we're deepening our supports in both partnering with other organizations and kind of setting a direction and path that says, hey, how do we connect students to where they can actually be our leading innovators of the future within Baltimore City? And yeah, I think that we've just done our first ever alumni survey with the partners at Johns Hopkins, our impact evaluators at Johns Hopkins. They would actually probably tell me not to call them partners. They are independent impact evaluators. And what they've seen is that one, our mindsets are sticking for our alumni. Our alumni survey, which we had about 60 of our 290 alumni take this survey, they have seen that mindsets like we fail fast and keep learning are used by our students in post high school. 96% of our students have graduated from high school. 66% right now are enrolled in a 4-year university. That doesn't mean that they will all graduate from that university, but they are using these mindsets like we fail fast and keep learning when they experience those challenges of post high school, college, career. And so that's been a really important part of that kind of post high school evaluation that we're starting to do. We've also seen that 98% of our youth want to do work that they're passionate about. So as we think about supporting them along these innovation careers, how do we ensure that those career paths are things of choice for them? We've seen with, kind of some of our student businesses that are generating revenue, Student Ventures generated over $1,500 in revenue in 2023. We're seeing that number grow this year. We've got our e-commerce website, Made at Dent, which not only sells the Made at Dent products, but also sells products for students in Accelerate Your Dent. They can list their own products on that website. And yeah, I think that the impact that we are having is shifting young people's mindsets, building those relationships, and as we grow and age as an organization, connecting them to innovation careers.
I wish there was a program like this when I was going through high school. Me finding my way and starting my own company, my company being, a kind of fly on the wall as we see the denters during their dentership come to the Techstars building amongst 10 other high growth companies within the technology space. It's for the viewers here that live in Baltimore who are familiar with Baltimore, it's no shocker to you that technology is one of our key exports from the city. When you look at Hopkins, when you look at Care First, there's a number of organizations within the city utilizing technology. So it makes sense, not only strategically, but as we see through the numbers in the workforce, there's a growing number of diverse people that are elevating and excelling within the technology and information technology business. So I want to applaud you there, and the intentionality, to have 200 plus people be able to speak towards something that they might have learned 2-3 years ago as an adolescent and how it's carrying into their life just goes to show that there's something sticky, there's something valuable, and there's something impactful about going through this program.
Yeah, I think, one, to touch on a point that you've made earlier, Baltimore is, I think, a place that really is a place of Black excellence, Black creativity, and as our Black community has had such an important role in shaping our city, also has experienced a lot of systemic racism and discrimination within our city. I'm definitely mindful of what are the ways that me as a white leader in our space, somebody who, isn't going to be in this role as the CEO of Dent for forever, and I actually feel pretty committed to intentionally transitioning Dent's leadership in the next 3 to 5 years to a leader who shares more lived experience with our young people. At the same time, I know that to build those relationships, Dent really needs to be with and of our community. And part of the reason I think Baltimore is such a special city is because we really can see Baltimore as the youth innovation capital of the world, as a place where our young people are connected to, and there's 3 kind of main reasons we see that. We've got already these creative, resilient, hustling mindset young people who, will see problems as opportunities and have faced a lot of real world challenges that no young person deserves to face. and also that our young people have found ways to, still navigate in a way that is still community oriented and joyful. So we've got these amazing young people. They just need the right opportunities to really thrive. We also have values aligned employers and government entities that are willing to do innovative things like, the service year program coming out of the state of Maryland, and values aligned employers with these new youth apprenticeship programs that are launching. Those things kind of come together to give us, I think, an opportunity for Baltimore to become known as the youth innovation capital of the world, where our young people thrive, where they're connected to our innovation ecosystem, and where they are the homegrown talent that 10 years from now are really the leaders of that ecosystem.
Wow. And I want to highlight on wide angle media. Again, this is a company, the founder, no older than 35, no older than 30. It was a recent participant in the esteemed Loyola Accelerator. B360 is led by Brittany Young, another young, excellent leader, has worked with countless groups, including New Balance, the Washington Wizards, and received over $1 million in a grant from the Baltimore office. These are leaders who have best utilized the opportunities and programs Baltimore has, and you're connecting them with, the youth and the potential youth leadership of tomorrow. So it's clear that you're targeting organizations that, aren't too removed from the community, aren't too removed from understanding where they were 15, 20 years ago, with people that see them, that see the highlights, that see the Instagram reels, and want to learn how they can get to that point. I mean, there's a common saying as an entrepreneur here in Baltimore. Some of the most known entrepreneurs pre-Series A are often some of the most underfunded. They've spoken to the biggest. They've spoken to the highest funders and corporate partners, and often they have to go through trials and tribulations. So imagine partnering them with people that have gone through, like you said, unimaginable circumstances, that want to meet people, that were in their shoes, but with 10 more years, with 15 more years of life and hard work, can bring themselves into the positions that they're in now.
I think that kind of the point that you're making, though, which I've definitely also heard from a lot of the entrepreneurs who are also connected to giving back, to our city. Adiola Fem Equity is another person that comes to mind, where Adiola was like a coach with Dent. Even as Adiola has grown in our ecosystem, is still committed to mentoring our young people and kind of providing that bridge. And I think that for us to really thrive, we need to be in an ecosystem where the people who are our current leaders or maybe our up and coming leaders. I know that Addie's someone who's still making it. Kind of are continued to be invested in our young people. We see this with just so many different folks from the innovation ecosystem who've really poured into students. I've spoken with students, have played a role in their kind of inspiration. And at Dent, it's we're kind of thinking, how do we you know connect those folks? We're really trying to become this, what we are, a youth innovation hub, where people, resources, and opportunities come together for our young people to build the future today. And I think we're not the only youth innovation hub in the city. If we can all be in partnership collaboration, when a student is really passionate about filmmaking, they shouldn't come to Dent. They should go to wide angle youth media. Or if they really want to become an expert in coding and development, they should go to Code in the Schools. It's like that sort of collaboration is really key. And at Dent, I think that we can play this unique role connecting the adult innovation ecosystem to our young people.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Micky. I just have maybe one or two more questions. Um, you know, Coming to Maryland, coming to Baltimore, let's talk maybe a little bit about that. What kind of attracted you to Baltimore? Again, you worked in Dent before assuming that position of CEO, and you want clearly to support Dent, 10, 15 years down the future. What is it that brought you here to Baltimore, and have you put in a position where you identify so much with the youth in its community?
Yeah, I definitely feel like Baltimore has been a place that has like most shaped me into who I am today. The people of our city, the relationships that I've built here. But yeah, I am not from Baltimore. I grew up in Texas, was born in Dallas. grew up in San Antonio, went to college at the University of Texas in Austin. And I actually found this program, Venture for America, which has, kind of brought different people, to our city. I think that there can be ways of intentionally showing up in our city, and there can also be extractive ways. And I totally recognize and understand why there's, I think, well placed mistrust in somebody who is a white person coming from outside our city, stepping into a leadership role, working with a nonprofit that serves our Baltimore City youth. And I think that relationship building takes time, and it takes learning from young people. It takes, honestly, failures from my end, and continuing to this day to learn and grow about how I can best show up as an ally and a co-conspirator in building a more equitable future. But I think, VFA was an amazing opportunity to kind of, come to Baltimore, connect. That's what I came to Baltimore to work at Dent, to be fully honest, but I've, grown to love Baltimore so much more than just the VFA experience. We've got such interesting creative community. I found, really passionate kind of interreligious community spaces, and, kind of space that is part of building the future that I want to live in as a Jewish person who feels kind of informed by Jewish values in doing work that works towards building a better world. And I think that I also fun fact, I got really into ancestry.com, and I actually found that my great grandfather and great great grandparents buried in Baltimore City, which was pretty cool. So yeah, kind of at where 895 and 95 intersect. There's a old Jewish cemetery over there, and I've been able to go and visit their graves, which is pretty wild. So I feel like Baltimore is a place that I feel really fortunate to feel at home in, and I also know that I will not, we're talking about, I definitely want Dent to exist 10, 15 years from now, continue to make this impact. I sure as hell will not be our CEO 10 to 15 years from now. And I feel, really, that there's a key role that I can play in putting us in a better financial situation, giving us clarity about where our future is. We've been going through a strategic planning process where we've, talked with over 60 of our staff, students, partners, in kind of developing what Dent's future is going to look like, and also being informed by just trends in the workforce development and youth innovation space as a whole. And I think that we're in a really exciting time. It's been amazing to see our young people start to become the leaders within Dent. We're entering our third summer in a row where we're planning on having a junior coach who's a former Denter on staff. Students are continuing to step up as leaders and shapers of our community. And have served on as board members, have been on our full-time team. Long term, 10 years from now, hopefully the former Denter is our CEO, and I want to set them up to play that role in a way that doesn't have to deal with some of the real challenges that oftentimes nonprofits do in terms of funding and burnout and things that we're still definitely dealing with. We're not past those challenges yet, but I feel really dedicated to getting us there. And Baltimore is an amazing city. It's a place where our young people already are, in a lot of ways, the builder of our culture and our future, and definitely deserve to be. And Dent is playing a small role in making that happen.
Absolutely. I mean, fruit of the earth. I can't think of someone who cares or thinks about Baltimore as much as you, whether it's playing basketball at Patterson Park or hosting some Seder dinners at your place alongside other Baltimore locals, or just hanging out and getting to meet people. You're someone that cares and has such a shared aligned interest in what the city of Baltimore stands for. So it's really great to hear and understand that you're trying to build something bigger, like you said, than Dent, and being honest and humble and recognizing that there's things that you know and the things that you don't know you want to learn and understand. And if you can't, then you're going to be an ally and hopefully promoting people to feel comfortable sharing their experiences. One unique thing I want to share is I was really honored for the opportunity to become a coach in Made at Dent, helping inspire and help some of the students there. One student right now is flourishing at UMBC, got admitted there, and is finding a great way within his engineering role to make an impact on his community there. One thing that I noticed that I think it's important to bring up is when I look at some of the Dent students and the exceptional work that they're doing, I see a lot of them come from some of the more known high schools in Baltimore, whether you think of Poly or whether you think of City. Um, those are two really well-known schools that have funding, that have programs that can hopefully help support Dent and help those students. But I mean, for every kid like that, there's 3, 4, 5 other students that don't have that light shine on them. How do you help the kids from East, the kids from West, be able to align with a program that's, I mean, located, not too far from Station North in that central Baltimore area?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that question. And yeah, I mean, we definitely have had some awesome students from City, from Poly, Ryan, who I think maybe so you're referencing at UMBC now. It's been awesome to see him kind of grow. I'll also just share that like it is our intention that Dent is a program, and it has been a program for youth from all across the city. We've had students from 25 different high schools and neighborhoods. I think that there are, just as an organization that like supports students through youth works and like the challenge to that program, you just see how resources are not equitably allocated across, the city. Like we'll recruit 15 students from Patterson, 15 students from uh from City or from Green Street Academy, and depending on the supports they have from family, from their schools, different amounts of those students will actually get through the youth works kind of youth works application process. And yeah, I think that but it's definitely an intention, like part of why we've kind of centered in Station North, is to be able to have that kind of core location where students from all across the city can access Dent. And yeah, we're building a youth innovation hub because not only are students building relationships from the students at their school, they're doing it from really across the city, and kind of closing the gap between uh, east and west, and even there's a patch. I'm trying to see if it's over here where our students designed that kind of speaks to that west plus east equals we mentality that students develop at Dent.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Again, you're calling from the Dent HQ, so I know you have a busy day ahead of you with the maker space, the maker resources, and I'm sure there's some makers around there somewhere. This is just a great way to let other people know about the great business that's happening within the city. And like you said, there's going to be a CEO that's in that room right now in the next 5 to 10 years. So thank you so much, Micky, for your time.
Yeah, really appreciate it, Michael, and appreciated City Biz.